Okay.
Well, welcome back to Show and Tell. This is episode 2, part 2, season 1, Stranger Things. Stassi, I've been doing this show for like 260 something episodes.
Oh my God.
That's
How many
fucking
Twilight are there?
how many what?
Twilight ones are there?
At least
At least six.
at least 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The
So like I was
whole
telling
episode was just my cancer stories. Never
Christ.
forget.
I forgot. I I think I was it was during Christmas. It was during Christmas. I was telling somebody I was like, "Oh, blah blah blah, my friend Stassi." And they're like, "Oh, who's Stassi?" I'm like, "Stassi's my friend with cancer." And they're just like, I'm like, "Oh my god, I've been talking to Stassi for too many days in a row.
I
I'm
don't
just
know if I've told you this before, but I helped Alex set up her classroom. And so the classroom, like what the school she works at, she worked at over the summer, and I had to ask her to take me to my surgery, right?
yeah.
So she had to ask for a certain day off because she was doing summer school there over the summer.
Uh-huh.
And so they knew in advance, like, hey, she's taking her friend to get cancer removed. And so
To do
I
the
went with her classroom because it was like, it was in that time frame after you saw me, but it was, I still couldn't drive, but I
yeah.
had taken the bandage off, but I still wasn't at work yet. It was like
So it
my
looked like you just
pushback
had
into
a
society. It looks like
so
I had those. Um, but in front of me, she went, "This is my friend, my best friend, Sassy. She's the one who has cancer."
oh no.
And my head snapped. I was like, "That's what you can't just let your friend." She's like, "Well, they know because I had to take the day off," and I was like,
This
"Okay,
this is the girl.
you can't tell."
Oh my god.
Like she got her knife like just slit.
Jesus. With that, welcome my friend Stassi again. Welcome back to Missing the Homies. And
Listen,
also
we have so much to talk about.
okay, well then let me crack this bubbly and we can get
Another
started.
one? Hell yeah. See, I went to get my bubbly and it was like empty in the fridge. So I don't know what happened to it. Yeah, Zevia.
Yeah.
He's back.
Oh no. Where's mine? Oh,
Okay, so anyways, I feel like we were on a roll.
Yes. Okay, so
So are we thinking Jonathan or Joyce? Because I feel like I was on a roll with them. Because like my notes for them are kind of very together.
here, let me flip a coin.
Okay.
Okay.
I can start with either.
Okay, give me a sec. Heads for Jonathan, tails for Joyce.
Okay.
Pick.
Heads. Okay. Why do I have to pick?
It's tails.
Like, why did I have to pick though? Because you already named what they were.
For dramatic effect.
Okay. Well, so my Jonathan and Joyce are very together. I'm just gonna keep talking. We're gonna have to keep doing these because I got 7 pages.
Jesus Christ.
We're staying up all night. It's 9. Like it's fine. Okay, so my Joyce. My first one for her is she will literally do anything for Will.
Oh, 100%.
Quite literally anything. And I think again from her first meeting with Hopper, where she says like Lonnie used to call him a thorn, and Hopper kind of says, "Well, is he?" And her doesn't matter. He's missing.
Yeah.
That is a very like
Joyce
she knows.
Joyce
She
doesn't
care.
Joyce doesn't give a shit. Joyce
That's her
just
kid.
wants her kid back. And
Exactly.
I feel like she does not it feels shitty. I feel like she doesn't care about Jonathan as much.
So my next note is she goes harder for Will than Jonathan.
Oh,
And that is
100%.
why my Jonathan and Will notes are together. And I did say that I kind of ragged on Joyce, even though she is one of my favorites. So you're hearing what I'm saying because that is
100
exactly what my notes for her are.
100%. Yeah.
Which
Joyce
again,
Joyce
let's
is
put ourselves
awesome.
it is the 80s. It was a different time. Where like I'm pretty sure Joyce Byers is in that town and everyone thinks no matter what that she is batshit crazy and that her husband left her because she was crazy.
Yeah, but
Um
Joyce
so
is
I love her. She can do no wrong. But my
She
next note,
she
there is a
definitely
whole
does
lot
not.
about her telling Jonathan, you always think that you're alone and you're not. But there's a reason he feels that way.
Oh, 100%. Because
There's a reason. And Jonathan says to Hopper that Joyce has anxiety problems. And I said that kind of pointed to her parenting possible issues, that Jonathan felt he had to grow up and be a parent to Will. Because Joyce was also, she's trying to take care of the house. She's now got all the bills. I mean, from what we know about Lonnie, he wasn't contributing much. But it's still possible he was given hello. He was giving some money. But
that's side eye.
He's right there. But she's working all these extra shifts. We know from that scene where she's getting the phone that she's worked there for like 10 years. She's never missed a shift. She's worked weekends, she's worked holidays. So Jonathan is at home raising
all the
Will.
time.
And from what I have gathered, Jonathan is driving in season 1, but I think he's like a newly 16. Like him and Nancy are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
But so he is a kid. Like he is a kid who has got a job, who is trying to raise his younger brother because his mom is always working. You don't come from a good, healthy relationship and family when you and your sibling are that close.
Yeah, because
Nancy
12
and
and
Mike
16
are a great example of what a like normal sibling relationship I think looks like. They definitely care about each other, but they annoy each other. Yeah. Whereas if Will has ever done anything to annoy Jonathan, he's like, that's okay. Do it again.
Yeah. Well, even later,
before he gets taken.
Like even later. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say like later on, it's definitely like. Well, I mean, after every time.
That's Luna.
Oh God, is she on the prowl?
She's up high.
At the top of the. At the top of the thing. At the top of the cat tree.
Yeah.
But like Jonathan is always dropping him. I feel like Jonathan is always dropping him off. Like he drops him off at the airport,
watching them,
and is like, which is funny because Steve
is watching the rest of the kids.
Is also is watching all of the kids.
My season 2 notes. We get there, but let's see. I can't
believe you have 7 fucking pages of notes. That's absolutely crazy.
I told you I was going hard. Well, some of them are just dumb. But like the fact that Joyce, when she answers the phone, says, "I know that's Will. That's his breathing." She knows his breathing. Like without, I could not recognize my own breathing.
She freaking loves the kid.
Like she's super mom to Will. I will never say she doesn't love Jonathan, but there is something that happened in the years after Lonnie leaves and Will gets taken that Jonathan he felt he had to grow up for a reason. And I do think because Joyce is working so much, there's more pressure because when like that first scene when Will is missing and it's, well, why'd you take a shift? You know you can't take a shift when I'm working, which it is a clear boundary that is like a normal boundary. Like Will is 12.
Yeah.
But he's also biking across town, which I know you haven't seen a map of this city, but it is
wow. Like, bold of you to say that you don't think I've ever seen a map.
I don't think you've seen a single map.
You've never looked at a map in your life and it shows.
But supposedly like the Wheeler house is like up here. The Byers house is down here. Like the whole town is in between. Well, so that's a fun little fact.
Tell me the fun fact.
Steve's house is actually right between the wood. Like it's like Steve's house, Woods, Byers' house. Like they're they're like neighbors. Yeah, it's weird.
I guess I should map.
Oh, another thing about Joyce. There is that whole scene where they're looking at his non-corpse corpse, and she's like, he's got that birthmark on his arm. Yeah. That's just something that a lot of people point to as like, that's weird.
No, she's freaking she knows Will. She loves
so that's because the next scene is her storming out. So it does like play the question of like, is there a birthmark on his arm? Or also, how the fuck did they make that corpse?
That I
Right?
also how bold of Hopper to just
To cut it open.
to slice it open. Like
What if it was Will?
that's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah,
like,
it's a
he would
dead.
have already had the autopsy, which means like it's already cleaned out. But like,
But if it's not,
still.
but
Yeah,
if
that's okay. So my last page of notes is like, what the fuck kind of questions like that.
tell me those.
Well, I can't because some of them don't relate to this season.
Damn it. Oh,
Sorry.
you mean your last page of notes total?
Yeah. And then okay,
Which we'll
so
get there. We'll get there.
Joyce is such a good mom. She will literally go to the ends of the earth for her kids, but also she has the most traumatized fucking children that I've ever seen in my life. And I don't blame her. I do think again,
one of them became a host for.
One of them was literally had to get exercised.
One was roasted alive.
And the other is just crying like constantly. Okay, so they go hand in hand, like I said. I do think what I was saying before of like she is fully raising this family by herself. Like,
wow.
You know, the people in this town are like, oh, she's the crazy one, blah blah blah. Because especially they like love Lonnie. Like, did you notice when Hopper's going around and it's like, have you seen this kid? They're like, oh, that's Lonnie's kid. That's Lonnie's missing kid. Lonnie,
no, I didn't.
That's something that, and then at the funeral, everyone's just kind of looking at Joyce like she's fucking crazy, which, like, granted, she was just screaming that he's alive, but they're all like laughing with Lonnie. They're giving him hugs. And it's like, he is a piece of shit who I think left 5 years before it canonically.
So what?
Will would have been like 7 or 8.
Crazy.
So like Jonathan, if we're going with he's 16 because he's driving, he's like 12. He's Will's age when he left.
Wow.
So that is something that like that's gotta be fucking insane because
gotta
like
fuck both those kids are
issues, and Jonathan thinks he has to step up because everyone in town is still saying, "Oh, those are Lonnie's kids," even though he hasn't been involved in 4 years.
This is a fucked up question I have for you.
Do
you think you enjoy the show because there's so all
much
of these
stuff to think about that? Yeah,
all of these traumatized children.
I think I relate to them somehow. That scene where I'm gonna skip it. That scene where her and Jonathan are yelling in the street breaks my heart.
Wait, which one?
When Jonathan is saying like we have to plan Will's funeral, and she's like, that's not Will.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just screaming. And that's back in my Jonathan notes too. Let's say that Jonathan I think he's 15, realistically. I think it's a small town, it's the 80s, he's just driving. But he's 16. Either way, he is planning his brother's funeral by himself. He is picking out a casket by himself.
Also, fucked up that at the end, Joyce says it, but she's like, "You made me bury my boy," and I'm just like, "That's so fucking."
Take a shot every time she says "my boy."
That was.
You'll die.
I feel like, I mean, later in the seasons, but Joyce had some of the. I made a note of it that she was like 100% the best
parent.
Yes, parent, but I feel like she gave the best performance of all of the characters.
Well, so fun fact. She was offered that role. She did not audition.
Oh.
She's the only one that was offered a role.
What was she famous from? Like what else would
writer?
I don't know.
The Heathers. She dated. Are you serious?
I don't know what I'm asking. I don't know.
Her whole discography?
Not her whole discography, but like I know Winona Ryder's famous, but like I don't know why.
You've never seen The Heathers?
No, I don't know what that is.
Yes, you've never seen Edward Scissorhands? She dated Johnny Depp.
Oh, I didn't like Edward Scissorhands. I started watching it and I couldn't get into it.
But he has scissors.
Soda's fucking what's his name?
You know what's a fun fact?
Jason Voorhees.
She was in Little Women. She played Jo March, and then later on in like the Amazon, Maya Hawke also played like Jo in Little Women. That's just a fun fact.
I'm sorry, my Little Women knowledge is
Okay,
still
I
is.
love Little Women.
You know who? I think Renee likes Little Women too.
The
Or
2019 version.
or no. She likes Little
Yep.
House on the Prairie. Is that the is that same time period?
Which one?
Little House on the Prairie.
Okay, it's not, but I also love Little House. I won't lie. I fuck hard with Little House on the Prairie.
How many do you think the creators of the show ever wanted someone to say I fuck hard with Little House on the Prairie?
I actually think that's what they set out for.
What somewhere the creators are like they're getting the Will
Laura Ingalls
Spider
Wilder herself.
they're getting the Will Spider-Man tingle on the back of his neck. That
The Will.
so you know how
Oh,
what
okay.
when he
I thought you were talking about like straight up Peter Parker. I was like,
so yeah, in the first Toby movie, I feel like that's how he does it. He's like that's
he
where
does. I think he get bit in the back of the neck.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets bit in the back of the
That's
neck.
a really fake looking spider. I'm just gonna say it. I get it. It was 2002, but
I was
like
gonna say
it's a different time.
it was post 9/11. Cut that.
Okay. Add that in. Anyways, going to Jonathan.
Jesus.
You got any fun things about Jonathan?
Let me see.
I know we talked about the photos a little bit.
Oh, I hate that they made Jonathan a pervert to show the picture of Barb. That's my one Jonathan.
My like bigger thing is not that he took the picture, but that he was developing them at school.
Yeah, like I feel like they could have
Not a creep.
Yeah, like they could have kept the entire essence of the scene. Like Jonathan still would have been a weirdo. Like if he was just pointing the camera at the house at night,
not
definitely
at Steve and Nancy fucking.
Yeah, that to me that was a weird
I think
choice.
it's even weirder that Nancy then dates him.
That's okay. I know we talked about it earlier, but like I feel like that gets glossed over way too quick.
It does. As we said, the Steve saying some unkind and unkept words, and then Jonathan. You know what? They both
beating the shit out of him in an alley.
Yeah, Jonathan really killed him.
That was the downfall of Steve Harrington.
It was. I do think Steve. I have a whole thing about Steve, and it's like a 4-season arc that I've got for Steve in here. But yeah, no, the photos. But the thing is, if people can forgive Steve, they should be able to forgive Jonathan. This shouldn't be what holds him back, because people in season 4 are still like, yeah, but he took those photos. And it's like, okay, but Steve also was literally a douchebag. Like,
yeah,
if we're going to forgive one, we have to forgive the other. And Jonathan does say to Nancy, like, that was fucked up. If I remember correctly.
He definitely does say something. He's like, I shouldn't have taken it. Like,
yeah, you should.
It's almost like they put it in the show and they're like, this is weird, but
it's like they put it in and forgot.
They
forgot that it was like fucked up.
It was a weird choice. We have to move on.
Yeah, okay, going on. I thought it was incredibly fucked up in the scene where Tommy and Carol and then Steve and Nancy are in the hallway, and he's putting up the poster for Will, and they're like, how much do you want to bet he killed him?
Oh, insanely fucked up.
You can tell just from like an outside perspective. Again, Jonathan is Will's dad. There is not a chance this boy even would let one of the little bowl cut hairs be out of place on this boy. Not a chance.
You know he's sitting there brushing the bowl cut in the morning.
He gets the bowl. But also
that's how he wakes up Will. He puts a warm bowl on his head.
But then going to that scene of Joyce saying, like, you know, you can't work when I'm working. There is not a chance that Jonathan does not blame himself that Will got taken.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because Jonathan was supposed to be home that night.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the whole second season, the whole
Yeah,
second and third season. Like you can really
even going
feel
into season 4,
you can really feel the guilt that Jonathan has for.
which is crazy because season 2, he's kind of gone for most of it. He's with Nancy. So anyways, that's the season 2 now. This is I think one of my most heartbreaking.
One thing that has been sorry, so sorry. I'm gonna lose it.
I'm gonna
Um,
keep talking, but
one thing that has really blown my mind, and I feel like it's made it a little bit harder to watch this show because I just watched Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon before
yep,
that, and those
I
shows are
watched
they're so spread out,
them.
and like watching this
These
show,
are a
like
week.
that's what I'm saying. Like the whole first season is everything
It's a week.
happens one day, and I'm just like,
Canonically, season 1 is a week because Will is in the Upside Down for a week.
and that's just it's so crazy to me how fast and how much
Well, okay, season 3 is
everything
even
goes
quicker.
to shit.
Season 3 is even quicker.
Yeah.
It's like 3 days
Holy shit.
because like 4th of July. It is like the 4th of July.
Oh yeah, because it's really like, oh yeah, because
It's
the
like
shit
two
is
and a half
happening.
days, 3 days
Yeah.
maybe.
The,
It's
anyways,
insane.
that's just
Yeah,
been throwing me off the whole time because I'm like, oh wait, was that last season? And
because
I'm like,
House of Dragon is 20 years.
literally, like the first time jump threw me off so much.
I
Also,
could not get past the fact that they didn't at all try to like age Millie, the young Rhaenyra. The
mhm.
point that I was like, how old is she? Every
that's what
episode.
that's
How
what I
fucking
was
old is
thinking.
she supposed to be?
I was so confused. I'm like, who is this?
I googled it every episode. I was like, how old is she? Because I
The
think she's
age
supposed to
of this
start off at like
Aryan child.
14. Because it's not the same as the books, which I did look up. Don't worry, I do my research.
I know.
Anyways, yeah, you can't tell.
Yeah, you
So
went through and took a semester's worth of notes.
it's crazy because these aren't even like the bad ones. Like they get so much worse.
Jesus.
So I do think one of the most heartbreaking lines, and just a scene is the fact that when Jonathan goes to Lonnie's house, he looks for Will's body in Lonnie's trunk because he believes that Lonnie killed his brother. And there's a reason he looked in the trunk, meaning my guess is at some point in Will's childhood, Lonnie locked him in that trunk.
Oh my gosh.
Why else would a
That's
16-year-old look in someone's trunk?
so
And the fact
dark.
that when Lonnie, first line you get from Lonnie to Jonathan is, "Oh, you got stronger." That's fucking like he was beating the shit out of Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh god.
Which
Yeah.
my guess, and this is again just a guess. My guess is that Jonathan was taking the hits so that Will wouldn't have to. But knowing Will as I know Will, from what we learned of him, I'm guessing that he was getting the shit beat out of him by Lonnie too, and just not saying anything. Which is again going to my point of Joyce. I think she, it's a different time, but she definitely knowingly stayed in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And
What
it does make me wonder what like the point of getting Lonnie the fuck out of the house was. And I would again assume it had something to do with Will, not Jonathan. I think Jonathan took 12 years of beatings.
Yeah,
He
Jonathan.
probably did something to Will and she saw it and was like, get the fuck out.
Damn, so are you a so you think Joyce loves Will more than Jonathan?
I don't want that to be true, but all signs point to yes,
But
right?
that's what you're just saying, but you're not saying.
But like, I'm not crazy for thinking
No,
that, right?
no, it definitely seems like it.
Especially like there's later seasons where like it's kind of you don't really get Joyce and Jonathan after this season.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't care. I'm gonna spoil it. Season
Yeah, go
4,
ahead.
like
She
she
doesn't
just
even notice
she
that
full
he's a
on
stone.
she full on dips. She goes to Alaska, and then
She leaves. Well, I think by season 4, which is crazier because she's got 3 kids in season 4. That
she just dips.
it's almost like the way that she is from even season 3. She dips. She's in Illinois with Hopper.
Oh yeah.
all because of the magnets on her fridge. And it's like, you wouldn't let Will take 4 steps away from you last season.
Yeah, it's like she's like, okay, he's back now. We're done with
Yeah.
that.
So that's where I'm like, I'm confused because Joyce is written to be like the best parent ever, but also when you look at her a little closer, it's like, well, wait a minute. Because like season 2 Joyce and season 3 Joyce are not the same.
No, in season 4,
Season
she's
4, she like does not interact with any of her kids.
no,
And
she
again, Jonathan is stoned out of his mind and she doesn't notice. And we know that her and Hopper, oh yeah, Hopper and her dated in high school. They say that in season 1.
Oh, did they?
Like, yeah, they say that in when Hopper's talking about like they're in the woods looking for.
I thought that they said. I thought Hopper said that they were just smoking cigarettes under the
I
bleachers
think
or whatever.
well, if they didn't date, they had a thing for each other, maybe.
They were
But
smoking cigarettes
that's the
underneath
thing.
the
If
bleachers.
they're smoking in high school, like there's no way she doesn't know that Jonathan's high.
Maybe she's just that oblivious.
There's no way.
Whoa, I couldn't say that word for a sec. Anyways, where notes?
Yeah. Again, I got this boy is planning his 12-year-old brother's funeral at
So
15.
fucked up, so crazy.
So
And-
again, I think Jonathan's got like what could be the worst past. He's got the most drama, and I said his parenting, of he was beat the shit out of, I assume. If not beat the fucked up, he was watching his father call his younger brother a bunch of homophobic names, and he that whole thing about him teaching both the kids how to shoot a gun. Again, if he left by the time Will is 8, that means Will's walking around by 6 knowing how to shoot a gun.
knowing how to shoot a gun. Also, God,
Jonathan crying for a week about it, him doing it so that his kids aren't pussies. Like,
was it because he made him shoot her? Because he made him kill a
he
rabbit?
made him kill a rabbit, and he cried for a week.
I love how Nancy heard the story and then immediately was just like, "All right, well, I gotta grab the gun."
Yeah,
Nancy,
of course. She's so
Nancy
badass.
reaching for the fucking firepower I'm mad that she hasn't gotten a gun this season yet.
Oh, you'll get there. There's a really good scene of her. I won't tell you on. You'll see it.
Nancy is so sick.
I love her. But yeah, they all have to grow. And I think season 1, we get that they all have to grow. Yeah, no, I do think Jonathan probably had like the worst childhood, and the way that he was parented made him feel like he had to be the parent to Will.
Yeah.
And I think it influences a lot of what he does. And then he would do absolutely anything for Will. Let's see. I do the line that I think foreshadows a lot of the show is when the fight, when Flo, the little secretary at the police station, is like, only love makes you that crazy. Because that really put it into Nancy's mind that like, oh shit, like,
I love Jonathan.
Yeah. And then
that's where her trauma bond was developed.
It started there for sure. Because that's before.
Good old
No,
Flo.
that's after. No, it started before that. It started when she got trapped in the Upside Down. So the night before.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Because the fight is after. Because the fight happens because Steve sees them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's the timeline.
Stassi, it's gonna kick us out in 10 minutes.
Okay, we got this. I do think the fact that so the nail bat that Steve has all of season 2.
Badass.
We know that Jonathan is the one who made that bat.
Yeah.
But I think it's Nancy's bat that she's swinging around by herself. Nancy's swinging a bat, and Steve comes up and asks to hang out. And she says no, because she's gonna go look for like Barb and Will.
Yeah, she is. She is swinging it.
So I think that's Nancy's bat.
So it's Nancy's bat. Jonathan made it, and Steve is using it.
Who the fuck in the Wheeler household is playing baseball?
Because it's not.
It's Holly.
Maybe it was Ted's. It was Ted used to play baseball. That's why he hates everybody, because nobody plays baseball.
Mike's not. Yeah, so then Jonathan, he would do anything for Will. I do think Jonathan's trauma is very much overlooked because, like, homie's got the most trauma. And then I just said that fight in the street between Steve and Jonathan is insane.
The one you mean the one in the alley?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. That,
Oh, you know what? I think I meant the Joyce and Jonathan fight where
oh,
they're screaming. I think I meant that, but both are insane.
I, so one was less sad because
Yeah.
one was where
What's crazy, and then one just like hurts.
one is where shitty Steve starts to emerge.
Steve, he doesn't even have his hair cut the right way yet. He doesn't even
Steve,
have the good hair.
the
Also,
hair.
Steve,
Steve
the
with the
first time we see Steve in those like fucking khakis, like
and
who
the
is he?
striped shirt.
Who is he? Like, if that was the only time we saw Steve,
If he
imagine.
died, oh my god.
Steve was supposed to die, like in season 1 too.
Absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
And then just my last thing is about Charlie Heaton, who plays Jonathan.
Mhm.
So he wasn't like a huge actor before this, actually. But he kind of auditioned for like the show because he needed money because he has a kid.
Really?
And it's he kind of got sexually abused.
Oh my god.
So his like
Not
girlfriend,
fun fact.
like 15 or something years older than him. I think he had his kid at like 18, 19, and she lied about her age. And like, yeah, it's a really uncomfy situation. But him and Natalia have been raising that kid together.
Jeez. Nance and Jonathan.
Yeah, they're the real life. Like, I love them.
I
They're
wonder
really
if
cute. If
I'm
they
not
break up, love isn't real.
I'm not rooting for them right now in the
In
season.
real life?
No, not in,
Yeah.
yeah, in
In
real
season,
life. In real life. After hearing that story, I'm kind of praying on their downfall.
oh,
In the show.
they're like raising a kid together, but okay.
Just-
Those are my Jonathan notes.
there's no way you're gonna get through every character.
I will.
Is
You're
this
just gonna have to let me back in. I can do this.
Oh my
Gotta
god.
get to two sometime.
I know. When are we gonna so
We gotta get through the season 1.
Stassi, you're gonna read all of your notes.
I haven't read all of them. All right, Will, I'm gonna go through real quick. Will.
Okay.
The Byers family.
Here. 5 minutes. Let's see if you
Got
can
it.
do
Right.
a character in
Will.
a minute. Go.
I'm sorry. That little boy knows how to use a fucking gun and used it against a Demogorgon. Number 2. I don't
A
know if you
rifle.
noticed this, but something they do say is that like Will and Barb are not the only 2 taken, that 7 other people had been taken in like that time frame. It's very quick. It's something that Brenner says to Hopper when they're in the lab. But Will is the only one to survive out of like 7, like we assume grown adults. Also, Will was there for a week and nobody else lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah. Ooh.
Will's just in there singing his little song. How cute. Question, how the fuck's he doing that shit with the lights?
Yeah.
And
That
that whole thing where he like made a portal to see Joyce in the wall.
okay.
I would like that to be answered at some point.
Yes. The show is great, but
I have to assume it's coming up in some time.
I would hope that something like that gets explained because like
I will tell you, and you're very close to it in season 4. They kind of talk about something about the lights and the upside down. But it doesn't, in my mind, match what happens with Will. I can't tell you something, but something that you're very close to will be very close to talking about.
like in the next episode.
Like in the next episode. That's why I asked what you had watched. I will say I don't actually love when a lot of shows do like flashback scenes, but I actually think they worked very, very well. Like when they open up Castle Byers and it shows him and Joyce talking about going to see a scary movie that its name is slipping my mind. I can't think of the word, and the word that I'm thinking of is not what it should be. Anyways, I thought that the flashbacks worked really, really well, and he is a baby. He is so little. He is like
Yeah.
this. He's this big. We already did this. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of Will. This goes back to this, like he's playing with the lights. He almost made a gate to see Joyce. Elle is the only one that touched him in Castle Byers. He called Joyce on the phone. How?
Oh yeah.
Because that's how she knew his breathing. How? I'd love to know. Again, something else season 4 can't tell you.
Oh
again,
damn.
he is upside down a full ass fucking week. And he's breathing in that like shit, like the
Yeah.
the
The like the Thanos snap dust.
Yeah, and he's puking up slugs and doesn't tell anyone for like a year.
That was a fucking.
Did he get like impregnated?
That blew my mind at the start, or because what? That's the very last thing of the
last scene. So it's like Christmas.
Yeah,
so that's a month later.
That's fucking crazy to me.
2 starts, and we're to assume that what Will throws up becomes Dart.
Yeah,
but there's not a lot of growth there in size, so I have to assume that he is still throwing up. Season 2 starts.
So you think
he got pregnant?
You think he threw up more than once?
He had to have, because all the Demodogs.
You think he threw up all the Demodogs?
I have to assume he threw up most of them.
So what? There's like 5 or 6, right?
There's like hundreds in that. I don't think he threw up all of them, because I kind of think when they showed Barb's body, she puked up a slug.
Oh yeah.
Or like a vine or something.
Yeah.
So I have to assume that like every person, say 7 people got taken, they all threw up slugs, even if they were dead. Thus the Demodogs, I assume.
So the way I was thinking about it is that like the way that Nancy got through that portal in the forest.
Yeah, because that shit doesn't happen again.
Yeah, but I assume that there had to be more than one of those openings, and so I assume the Demodogs came out of that. But
they did, because
yeah,
that was opened by the Demogorgon, and only the Demogorgon made that. The reason Nancy went through it is because the Demogorgon went through it when it took the deer. There's a lot of inconsistencies that all stem back to this that are in my Demogorgon section.
Oh my god, well, it just hit less than a minute. So give me one more. Give me your last note on Will.
Okay, when he wakes up in the hospital and he's like, Jonathan, and then he asks if Jonathan's okay. He was just gone for a fucking week.
Oh, Will was so cute in the first season, but
then I have a whole thing about being hate crime.
Okay, well, are we gonna do another one or no?
Do one more, and I bet you I can get through the rest of the party.
Oh my god! Okay, we're gonna get through the rest of the party on a part 3. Here we go.
We got this. We got this.
You're insane.